Good morning, Mission Oak Talon journalism crew. It's your fearless leader, Mr. Hazelwood here, and you just happened to catch me on a day that I'm wearing my finest ugly Christmas sweater. Darth Vader, yeah, bam. All right, I'm here to give you the rundown on our Bravo Farms field trip / photo portrait assignment. What is expected of you, what we're gonna do when we're there, what we're gonna do when we're back in the classroom the following day, and how to get the most out of the learning experience. Not just how to get a good grade, but how to create some art that you can continue to do for the rest of your photography life, the rest of your multimedia life. So we'll get into that. I'll show you some of the sites that we're gonna be at and what you're gonna do when you're there, and then we'll run down the assignment and all the editing and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, first up on the technical side, you wanna make sure that whatever camera your group gets, that you either Google or familiarize yourself with how to get to the different settings that you're gonna be using. Remember ISO, shutter speed, aperture, everything that we've discussed in the previous weeks. And don't feel bad about Googling. Every camera is different. The Nikon 3100 we know is different from the 3300 even. So don't feel bad about Googling how to get to those settings, because it can be confusing and different from camera to camera. I still do that. I don't have any of them memorized, even though you guys use the cameras more than I do these days. So don't feel bad about Googling, but remember, focus on that chart. That is one of the most powerful charts in all of photography. So look to that, and then before we get out to Bravo Farms, be ready with how to adjust those settings. All right, welcome. This is the parking lot here at Bravo Farms, and again, it looks not like much, but it's not until you go inside that you see all the magic and all the possibilities as far as backdrops. So when we first get here off the bus, this is where we congregate, and this is where you go over as a group your last plans before you really get started. So let's go on. All right, so when you walk in, you do see just what looks like a typical store, maybe a step up from a gas station kind of thing. I mean, but there's a lot more crafts and things of that nature. But it's easy to get to, miss the big picture of what we're going for. So if you walk through these doors here, and naturally, of course, I'll be here to guide you. As we go this way, we go out into the courtyard, and you see the tree house, and you see various little backdrops. So lots of opportunity to be creative with backdrops and where to set each other as a group and get some interesting photos. There's even animals, as we discussed. So once you get here, this is when you start to explore and see where your artistry and your creative eye take over. All right, so a big part of today is not only how can you capture the person who is the main part of your photo, but how can you use the background and all this, crazy enough and things that are really pleasing to the eye. How do you surround that person with those items? It can be challenged to what to focus on, because you can't do everything at the same time. So have fun and just be creative. All right, we're back here in the classroom, here on the desktop. Hopefully, you can hear in the background. I got my Christmas music playing. You know, I'm in the mood. So let's review real quick before your assignment. Just what we're looking for. We're not looking for just selfies. We're not just looking for unimaginative photos. We're looking for portraits. And so, to give you the best of the best, obviously, I'm going to go professional. You see in my search engine, I have celebrity portraits by the Los Angeles Times. Why did I use Bing? Because oddly enough, Google was down at the moment and just kept spinning. But anyway, let's start. A lot of you know Steve Carell, the actor here. And here we have some interesting images that fit his zany, funny personality. I'm just going to point out some things to you. As far as light, you see there's some purposeful shadow. You also see that while he is in the center, which is kind of rare, he's also, everything is basically in thirds, right? He's in that center third. If we're looking vertically in thirds, he's in the center third. All right, that's our rule of thirds. That's what makes it pleasing to the eye, even if it's subconsciously to us. So that's something you could do. Utilize rule of thirds vertically. Here, I'm not exactly sure even who this guy is, but I could guess that he's somewhat, serious. He's intellectual. We have the glowing lights. We have, again, purposeful shadow on his face, or at least his neck here. And again, he is occupying that middle third. Also, if you look horizontally, even, we have the bottom third at his chest level, putting his head in the middle third horizontally, and then we have the glow in the top third. Again, rule of thirds horizontally and vertically apply. One more interesting use of the light here, as you can see, there are most of Kevin Costner, who is a very serious actor, producer. He's in shadows, and you have a few lights here and there. What kind of artistic statement is this trying to make? I don't know. Maybe he's in a dark world. He's a shining light. I don't know. Whatever. But it does fit his personality of being a creator, of being a serious artist. And again, rule of thirds, he's occupying pretty much two-thirds, right? So whatever your subject is, it doesn't have to be limited to one-third, as we discussed. You can fit it across two-thirds, either horizontally or vertically, and that's what we have here. Notice he's looking off to the center, and this isn't exactly dead space, even though it's the third that he's not in. There's a little bit of interest there. What is he looking at? What is off to the side? And that's part of what the photographer did purposefully, leave a little bit of ambiguity there. Next, I'm not exactly sure who this is, but we know that the rule of thirds, as we say, is not exactly precise mathematically along the lines, long graphs, but for the most part, she is in this left two-thirds. So over here, some dead space, kind of interesting, kind of not, but it works color-wise. And you have, what we have here is personality. I'm not sure exactly who this is. And see Rhiannon Giddens. Yeah, it doesn't strike a bell, but apparently she's a celebrity. And so we have the cool little earmuffs, the eyes that go with it. What is she listening to? Are they actually headphones also? Who knows? But the red and the dark red really work. And you have the shadow away from her. The light is coming from this way. What is she looking at? What is over here? The light. What's supplying the light? That's all things that capture your attention. Again, two-thirds. Personality. She seems like she's fun. She seems like she's a good person to be around. Maybe a little goofy. All right, last one. Here we have a serious lick. Rule of thirds? I'm not sure. Maybe two-thirds of the left. Yeah. And then we have this kind of dead space that is still interesting because we have a bench coming at us. Just a crazy take on angles. This is a bench that wraps around and it fills up this entire edge right here, and that's cool little angle trick here. Here we have him in what appears to be an, I don't know, an old desk. I don't know exactly what. You have a book here, so I take that he's intellectual. I take that he's serious about what he does. Yet he's maybe kind of, um, shall we say, classic. He's old school. He's a little macho. There's nothing modern about him and his look. So those are hints to his character. All right, so we've seen examples of what we're looking for. You've seen the lay of the land. Now, just let's discuss what your finished product is going to look like. It's just taking them onto Google Slides. Here, I have some pics from last year, and I'm just going to lay them out on a page for them to shine. And one small detail, too, for each one in the speaker notes, you're going to add a couple of sentences. One, why you chose this setting, and two, what did you do as far as settings to help accomplish the portrait. So you're going to do this for each member of your group that you shot. And then lastly, once you share them with other groups, you're going to leave some helpful comments or some feedback on this one. Love the use of shadows to illustrate a deep thinker, right? What have you? And then that's that. So you're going to have the assessment from me, and then you're also going to have some feedback from each other. So let me know if you have any questions. This is always a fun assignment. So thanks and take care.